Welcome back to Hannity. Time for Media Mash, our weekly roundup of all the ways the mainstream media tries to put their liberal spin on the news. Back to go through this week's material, the president of the Media Research Center, Brother Brent Bozell. Sir, how are you? Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Brother Hannity. How are you?
All right, so NBC's been having a lot of problems. Alec Baldwin, gone. Bashir, gone. Melissa Harris Perry, tears, crying. Then, of course, you got Ed Schultz, you got Matt Au, you got Al Sharpton, all controversial comments on a regular basis. The one guy that seems to escape scrutiny, that has now played the race card more than ever, and most recently this week, is Chris Matthews. Let me play it for you.
To return to something like Jim Crow days, redolent of all the old anti-black gimmickry of that time, literacy tests and poll taxes and all the rest. The goal will be to erase not just Obama from the history books, but any evidence that someone of his background should ever think of being president. It will mean victory for the haters.
Jim Crow, literacy tests, poll taxes. He's talking about the Tea Party there. That, to me, is so over the top and outrageous. Why no scrutiny for him?
No, and look, if you were to ask Chris Matthews to cite a single example of anyone who's ever said this to him, he can't do it. If you ask him to cite a single example of anyone who's ever written this or said this to anyone else, he can't do it. This is made up out of whole cloth. In the same day, he also said the Republicans were going to take us to war. So he's playing the LBJ, Daisy commercial all over again. What's going on at MSNBC? Obviously, they're being told at Comcast to push the envelope, push it, push it, push it. And what happens on the personal, you end up making insults about defecating in Sarah Palin's mouth. But what no one's focusing on is on the political. And this is a form of ad hominem attack on the political, where he's trying to discredit Republicans. They can't debate us, Sean. They can't debate the conservative movement. They're left with only personal attacks.
All right, let me go to CNN now, and let's go to Candy Crowley raising the question, why would anyone unemployed or making a low wage want to be a Republican? Well, I have a question for her after we show this.
If I am an unemployed American and I hear from Republicans that, we should go ahead and do that, provided we do the following three things. And it's a caveated approval of extending those benefits. Or if I am a minimum wage worker and I see Republicans who say, you know what, it's artificial, it messes with the marketplace, it might mean some teens can't get into the job market. Why would I become a Republican?
Hey, why with 1 in 6 Americans in poverty, the lowest labor participation rate in decades, the highest debt and deficits of any president ever, why would anyone want this guy to be president if you're in that position now in the 6th year of his presidency? Isn't that the real question?
Yeah, there's another way of asking that question, Sean Hannity. She could have said, given that President Obama is proven that he is summarily incapable of having a policy that creates jobs, why would anyone want to be a Democrat? But the way she asked that question was directly through the prism of a Democrat. A Democrat sees government as the solution at all times. It is government that creates jobs. If you look at it as a government, as a Democrat, it is a good question. Why would anyone want to be a Republican? But that is her ideology coming through 100%.
Yeah, just like she helped President Obama in that debate when she was moderating. All right, let's go to the, Bob Gates is going to be on this program. Explosive new book that has come out, some serious allegations. Watch the liberal media suggesting that him writing it is an act of betrayal. Watch this.
Blindsided, President Obama's former defense secretary, Robert Gates, takes on his old boss, the man who awarded him the Medal of Freedom.
Were you surprised that Gates wrote this book and attacked a sitting president, a sitting vice president?
I think I was surprised that he did it while the president was still in office. The president did award him the Medal of Freedom, after all.
Considering Gates' place in history, sitting in the White House Situation Room with Mr. Obama, Biden, and Clinton during the killing of Osama bin Laden, the memoir is seen by some critics as an act of betrayal.
This is how they focus. But the revelation here is that the president sent our sons and daughters into the battlefield, not believing they could win, and that both he and Hillary admit that they voted against the surge. Our brave sons and daughters fighting for us for political reasons. Shouldn't that be the focus?
Sure, the double standard is astonishing. The reverse happens with Republican presidents. When Paul O'Neill, the Treasury Secretary under George Bush, wrote a book denouncing George Bush when Bush was president, he talked about things like Bush was like a blind man in a room full of deaf people. And the media called him a straight shooter for doing that. When Scott McClellan wrote a book criticizing Bush and his Iraq policy, the media were all over him, praising him for that. But when the reverse happens, they kneecap you. It's such an astonishing double standard.
All right, Brent Pozell, appreciate it. Good work as usual. And coming up tonight, shocking video of the latest brutal knockout assault on this elderly woman. Now, why are police in New York calling this vicious attack? It's only harassment. And then tonight,
being white in America, it comes with this legacy all its own. And while I may not know why I'm white, I know that I can help change that legacy.
An outrageous racially charged production that was performed at a public university. And when we come back,